First of all, a battling performance on Tuesday night. How do you assess our performance against the Championship leaders?
Yeah, I was pleased with the performance. We knew it was going to be a really tough challenge. I mentioned it before the game. And especially when you see the starting 11 and subs announced, you know that they're going to take it really serious. They didn't really rotate much. They put a really strong team out. So we knew going into the game that we'd have to be contained and organised out of possession and make sure we give ourselves the best chance of winning the tie. And I thought we'd done that really well. And once we'd done that in the first half, we spoke about half time of just coming out a little bit more and trying to get after them. And I thought we'd done it really well without exposing ourselves. We managed to press them and we turned the ball over a few times, and if it wasn't for just a little bit more guile in the final third or a little bit more luck, we could have got the first goal, because if we're honest with ourselves, they actually got their first goal when we were on top. And when you look at the goal back, it was quite fortuitous really. I think he's gone to cross the ball and it took a little nick and gone off the post.
So what are your thoughts on some of the players who were given a chance to impress in the game? Obviously Chris Merry back in midfield and Dan Pike on his debut.
Chris has been great. We know that Chris had an injury the back end of last season, so we was a little bit behind this season on his fitness. He was a little bit behind the group going into the first couple of games of the season, so he had to build up and he had to be patient, and he was disappointed he wasn't involved, but he understood why, and he's bided his time, and then he goes and plays against Notts County Saturday on left back in a position he's played before, but not his strongest position, but he never let us down. He was outstanding in regards to stuck to the task, never went missing, and I thought he was very good in there. And then on Tuesday it was a good opportunity to move him into the middle of the pitch. Because again, Tuesday it was one of them games where we knew when we won it back we'd have to keep the ball, and he does that very well. So he was outstanding Tuesday, and then for Dan Pike to come in for his debut and say, "Congratulations, Dan Pike, you're now playing against Mark Albrighton on your debut." So he come up against him, and again, we're signing players who've got great character and mentality. And with Dan Pike, you see that what he's about there, that he doesn't go missing. He'll get up to the task. He'll be aggressive, and I thought it was a really good performance from him for his debut.
It was. Just a word on the injury situation then. What can you tell us on the likes of Jake Leake, Leo Connor and Luke Norris?
Jake Leake, I've mentioned, he pulled his hamstring in training last week, so he's going to be missing for a couple of weeks. Leo Connor's still being assessed with his ankle injury, but we'll miss a couple of more games at least. And the likes of Norris, we're waiting for his scan and his results.
Okay, we're just obviously very close to the end of the transfer window now. Do you expect any activity in the coming hours?
We're hoping so. We always look at it, and again, we want to bring in some players that are going to upgrade us and improve the group. So we're constantly looking. It's probably been one of the most difficult seasons I can remember for bringing in players, particularly loans from the Championship and Premier League clubs, whether that's to do with the amount of subs the Championship are allowed now, whether they allow 9 subs, whether they're keeping more players in because of that, or even because of the additional time. They don't want to let players go out because they feel might be more risks of injury. But I speak to a few managers in League 1 and League 2, and they're all saying the same, that the loan market is particularly slow this season, but we're still hoping and pushing in the next 24 hours to try and get a couple in.
So looking ahead to this weekend then, what do you expect from Wrexham?
So I've been watching them in a few games. They're a good team. You can see that they've started okay in the league, but I've mentioned before that there's a few good teams in the league, and we're one of them. So we've got to make sure, like we do with every opposition, we manage their threats and we make sure that we expose their weaknesses, and that's what it's all going to be about for Saturday. So it's all about making sure we do all them things right and win the game at the end of it.
It's a local derby, obviously, at Prenton Park. What do you think the atmosphere will be like in there on Saturday?
The atmosphere is great at Prenton Park all the time. It's going to be extra special on Saturday because I've heard the attendance is going to be near enough a sellout. But it'll be a great... I think it's the right game for us to go into now. I think if I could handpick a game, I'd say this is the right game for us to go into. And the players, the staff, they're looking forward to it, and making sure that we come out with 3 points is vital on Saturday, and the fans can help us at that like they always do. I'm sure they get behind the lads from minute one, and I think it'll be a great occasion.
In such a passionate atmosphere then, how important is it that the players remain focused on the game plan you've worked on?
It's like in every game, you've got to control your emotions. You've got to have emotions, but you've got to control them at the same time. So this will be no different Saturday. we know the local rivals, we know there's a little bit extra on it and a bit of added edge, which is great, but we've got to make sure we're focused in the game and we make sure we do our jobs and our roles right. And like I say, the 3 points is the most important thing on Saturday, and the lads are ready for it and they're ready to go and attack it.